want to welcome you to the 2014 graduation of the licensed practical nursing class of Summers County. We have with us today as our guest speaker, Mr. Kurt Messer. Mr. Messer was originally from Michigan. He was drafted into the U.S. Army in 1953 during the Korean War. He served 13 years, half in the regular Army, and in 1971 he joined the Army Reserve and National Guard. He served 15 and a half years and retired in 1991. He came to Hinton in 1967. He married a girl from here and came here after getting out of the Army that year in 1966. He and his wife Millie opened up a photography studio in 1970 and retired from that business in 2005. He has been part of many events that took place in Hinton and Summers County and around this part of the state. He helped organize the first bicycle races here in 1974, the first 5K run skateboard competition, and was part of the veterans team that opened the Veterans Memorial Museum, which is located in the Old Hinton High School Library. He says two of the most satisfying events he worked with was the roller skating marathon and the bicycle ride-a-thon for cystic fibrosis. These events were held 3 years with Summers and Hinton youngsters taking part, and they raised a total of $20,000 for those organizations. He and his wife Millie, who's ill at this time, have seen many changes in events to be in this place. They were the photographers who made the photos of the first graduating LPN class in 1971. He is here to speak to you 43 years after his first contact with the LPN program. Here's Staff Sergeant Kurt Messer.
She was my neighbor, so I can say thank you, neighbor. I'd like to welcome you to students to the graduation class. So, this is it. The day you've been waiting for. In other words, you made it. When I was given the opportunity to speak to you, it was a great honor. Many of you already know who I am, but those of you who don't, Ms. Heineman introduced me, but I'm Staff Sergeant Kurt Messer. It's a little different for me now because usually, those of you who know me see me standing in uniform at some of the veterans, or the veteran ceremonies or the holidays, the veterans holidays. I do have a medical background though. I was an ambulance driver for 5 years, and when I went in the Army, I was a military policeman for 7. So I know the responsibility that you nurses will be taking. There's one good reason why they call this commencement, but really it's not the end, it's the beginning of a new career and new life work. I know you're excited and finally want to graduate, and you have mixed emotions about graduating. With your friends, the bond you made with your friends, the classes you went through, you have a right to be proud because you made the preparations, worked hard to achieve the goals, seen struggles, and come together as a team. And I'm sure you've had great support, a good support system from your families. You have all these new memories in common now, and you can always look back on those memories and carry that strength with you in your new endeavor. We would like to acknowledge all the people that helped you along this journey, whether it be teachers, family, friends, and classmates. I'll bet each one of you can recognize someone in your lives that have given you that extra push that you needed to succeed and continue into this program. So students, would you please stand? Please turn around and give those people, your family, friends, and classmates, a great big round of applause and say thank you. Thank you. You have now obtained the knowledge and the skills to pursue your new career. All you need now is the opportunity to put those skills into experience needed to be a great and caring nurse. I can't say I've had any experience of being a nurse, but I recently have experience as being a patient, having 2 hips replaced in 3 years. My daughter always teases me whenever I had my hips replaced, because I always took my camera with me to make a record of the doctors and nurses that took care of me. I want to remember those who cared for me and treated me with care and compassion. And I'll try to forget those who treated me like it was just a job. I'll try to forget those. But mostly, my experiences through the years have been great ones. You will, I say that again, you will touch lives in this career of yours, and the people will remember how you treated them. They may forget your name, but they won't forget how you treated them, and they're going to tell others about that. There's a saying about nurses, I have to read this. As a nurse, you will have the opportunity to heal the mind, the heart, the soul, and the body of your patients, their families, and yourself. They may forget your name, but they will never forget how you made them feel. The end of quote. That quote is by Maya Angelou. I admire each one of you for the dedication and the sacrifices you made in order to reach this point. It's been tough. I know, like Ms. Hunterman said, we did the first photograph of the first LPN class. And when the ladies walked out of graduation, the beads of sweat, some of them were still there, and they were saying, we made it, we made it. As I look forward and anticipate what the future will hold, I pray that you will be an example for future LPN nurses. Hold your head up high for the accomplishments you made, become leaders in the community, and desire to make a difference. Do I have one more minute? One of the things in your experiences will be good and bad as you get your experiences. As an ambulance driver, a teenage 17-year-old, we had to call to emergency. This lady needed to get to the hospital. So I was on call that night, and we got to her residence, We picked her up and we put her in the ambulance. And because I was not old enough to drive, I was the assistant driver. I sat in the back on the gurney with this little lady. When we picked her up, put her on the gurney, my hand went into her back. She had that many bed sores, and I thought to myself, this is not good. So we had to get her to the hospital as fast as we can. So when we got in the ambulance, we were about 15, 20 miles away from the hospital. She leaned over at me and looked me in the eyes, and I could have picked her up on myself. She only weighed about 90 pounds. She looked at me and said, "Young man, would you hold me?" I said, "Ma'am?" She said, "Would you hold me like my son would if he was here?" I said, "Yes, ma'am." I leaned over and picked her up and put her head on my shoulder. She looked me in the eye, smiled. And there she went. I'll never forget it. And these are some of the things that you'll be running into. Many experiences. Well, that was a good experience. Sad one, but it was a good experience. And then you get some of the bad experiences. One of the good experiences also is that when a patient gets up out of the bed like I did, and I stand up and I'm looking at you girls and I say, "Thanks for making me better and taking care of me." It's great. It's a great feeling, and you'll have these feelings and these mixed emotions. But you're going to be strong. That's what made it. Now you worked hard. It was in 12 months. 12 months. Like I said, this is new to me. I'm usually doing the militaries. On closing, students, I need your help. Would you please stand? Let me hear you. Give me an and. Give me an and. Now, give me a you. Now you. Give me an R. Now you are. Give me an S. Now you are seeing. Give me an E. N-U-R-S-E. Now you are seeing the end of a hard-fought year, and you have made it. Good luck to you, class LPN class of 2014. God bless you. God bless America. And thank you for bearing with this old boy.
Samantha Lane, who is the president of the LPN class, and she will share with you code ethics.